Hey guys, this is Ray, owner of DRP Motorsports. Welcome back to our shop. And in today's video, I will be discussing long tube headers. What long tube headers are, how they work, and how they can increase the performance of your Mustang or F-150 with a Coyote. So let's get started. All right, guys, let's talk about long tube headers. And I will try to explain this as simply as I possibly can so that maybe you can understand it. Um, Headers, long tube headers, exhaust manifolds, they all do the same thing. All they are is the connection between the cylinder head of your engine to the exhaust system that carries the exhaust away from your engine out from underneath the body of your vehicle. Um, right here, we've got a Gen 3 Coyote out of a 2019 Mustang. Uh, what we're talking about, here are the exhaust ports on the cylinder head. When this engine runs, burns gasoline, anytime you have a combustion process, the exhaust has to leave the engine and is pushed out through these ports in the cylinder head when the exhaust valves open, and the headers or the manifold is the connection that bridges it. Here is a factory, some people might call this a shorty style header or a tubular exhaust manifold. Certainly better than the old cast iron manifolds way back in the day that used to be on these engines, but it basically fits up. See if I can get it right here on this one stud, like so. That's the factory piece. And what we're talking about doing is replacing it with one of these long tube style headers. And it just simply sits up there just like that. But you see there's a lot more there than what the factory piece is. So let's talk about that. So, again, without getting too technical, the long tube style header is basically a means of getting the exhaust out of the engine more efficiently. You can just look at the difference. The exhaust tubing size, the bends, all how it all flows together is not conducive for maximum flow of getting the exhaust out of the engine, is where long tube headers are. The factory headers are there for ease of installation, maintenance, so on and so forth, for a factory vehicle that leaves the factory. Now, the big thing is about long tube headers and how and why they work the way they do is, think of it like this. They basically provide order for the exhaust to exit the engine. So with the factory style shorty header, basically when the engine fires and it goes through its firing order and the combustion processes takes place and the exhaust leaves the engine, well, you can kind of see that the exhaust pulses really don't have a chance to really individualize or separate. They all kind of get run together pretty quickly. And when you bunch exhaust pulses together quickly, you kind of create a traffic jam. Think of an exhaust pulse as it leaves the engine. It's a quick little pulse when the exhaust valves open, and you've got all these different pulses running together and hitting each other all at the same time. It kind of creates a traffic jam for the exhaust, and you hinder airflow leaving the engine. Long tube headers work so that they separate the exhaust pulses individually longer. That helps the actual flow out of the engine. Now, there's another part of this, and the reason why long tube headers make more power than factory manifolds is something called scavenging. So, when you open up that exhaust valve as part of the 4-cycle engine process, during that process, the intake valve, due to camshaft overlap, will be open at the same time, just briefly. So during the process, you've got the exhaust valve open and the intake valve open at the same time. Now, what happens is when the exhaust flow is really good and you've got that exhaust valve open at the same time that the intake valve is open, your exhaust flow can actually create a vacuum which helps pull intake flow into the cylinder. So, long story short, the more air and fuel that you can pack into that cylinder, whether it's naturally aspirated or boosted, the more power the engine's going to make. So, the factory style headers don't do a good job of that. But the long tube headers with these long tubes will separate the pulses long enough so that they have opportunity to pull a nice vacuum in the wake of that exhaust pulse moving down this pipe. And that vacuum that's created by that moving exhaust pulse will actually pull intake charge into the cylinder when the intake valve and the exhaust valves open at the same time. So, without getting any more technical, just understand that long tube headers, due to their design, are less restrictive, and due to their design, they increase cylinder scavenging, which brings more fuel and air into the cylinder, which allows the engine to make more power. So just understand that they're not only less restrictive, but through mechanical means, they can help the engine suck in more air, burn more fuel, and make more power. Now, what's the downsides? Well, installation. These are a little harder to take on and off the engine than would be this. Okay. Also, a plus and a minus, depending on where you're at. Long tube headers make more noise than those factory pieces do. But in the performance world, we don't mind noise. We actually like it, and we definitely want more power. Now, let me just add this. This is a set of headers for our 24 Mustang. We're going to bolt them on pretty shortly. You have the options for catted or non-catted headers. Guys, this is 2024. The government means business with air pollution mandates. Make sure you choose a set like we've got that's got catalytic converters. These are from Cook's. They have their green catalytic converters. We're doing this so that we keep the air clean and we can maintain our hobby for years to come. But anyway, guys, I thought this would be a good video to kind of explain the benefits of long tube headers. Hope it helps. Hope it makes a little sense. And if we can get you a set of these headers and get them installed for you, please let us know. We've got them on our website. We can install them at our shop. We can ship them to you, however it works. But these will add power to an otherwise stock car, even without tuning. And we'll demonstrate that soon with our 24 Mustang. As always, guys, thanks for following along. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you again soon.